Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown live show post Nuggets Lakers Game 4. Game 4, yes. I don't know. I'm tired. Are you tired? I'm tired after watching that game. That was kind of exhausting, and I think it was frustrating. It was a little frustrating. Again, I find myself rooting for the underdog, so don't blame me on that one. But they just couldn't do it. The Lakers are good. And I think what happens is they separate themselves so much more with like LeBron and AD in theory than the rest of anybody else on the floor that gets them enough because the other guys, don't stack up. They stack up okay against the Nuggets. But here's the thing. I don't know. The way Jamal Murray was making shots, I just felt like maybe he just deserved to win just because who's seen a guy, Steph Curry maybe makes shots like that a little bit, but he made a falling down, floating over somebody left-handed. And I think he switched it to his left hand after thinking about it with the right. And then he had the other one on LeBron, and I think AD was there too, where he double pump on the way down with English on the. That was insane. Like those are the kind of shots you just figure the basketball guys are going to ordain that they win the game. We could talk a little bit about the reffing. It was problematic to say the least. And after last night when we had Brothers and Foster, go watch the video I did today because I had Ronnie on because they called a jump ball on a review where somebody, who was it, throws an arm. Oh yeah, Jason Tatum throws an arm in the open court, and they reviewed it because they called a foul on the defense. But it was clearly an offensive foul, and they ended up giving him a jump ball, and then the Celtics got the ball back. It's just wrong. It shouldn't have been that way. But this is Capers, who's another guy who's notorious for just sort of calling things he thinks he sees. It's never really like what he can see or what really happened, and it's consistent enough for me to think that like he's just suboptimal as a ref. But I think we could all talk about a couple plays. Let's see here. Let me get my notes out so I get it exactly right. But let's see. Where is it? Murray gets a pick and roll, has LeBron like sort of on the side of him behind him, and he goes and he gets a layup out of it. And LeBron, blocks the ball, but almost at the same exact time as in this provocative manner, he hits him on the wrist. So it was an obvious foul. Murray was upset they didn't get a call in real time. But what was interesting about that was that LeBron picked up Murray in that stretch. And, but way back in the day, if you don't remember, when on the Heat, he would pick up the point guard and shut them down. He's not that kind of player anymore. But what he does know is that LeBron he'll get the benefit of the doubt. He won't get called for certain fouls. Now, that's all nice in some respects. And they called a foul on him earlier where Murray, it was very iffy contact. I thought maybe they would win that challenge. The Lakers challenged it, and they didn't. So you could say, well, hey, LeBron got called for that. But on a provocative swipe, which was for free throws, when the score at that moment was, let's see here, just under 3 minutes left, and it was a 2-point game. Like that pretty much changed the whole game. And the Nuggets did not score after that. They didn't have a field goal. They might have had a free throw or two. So that was really deflating. And they had to turn on that. It's really too bad. My goodness, super chats already. Thank you, Luca Della. You are all right, Luca. We got to maybe bring you on the show at this point. You're such a super chatter. It's crazy. Thank you so much. I guess you're happy that the Lakers won. Maybe you won some money or something on the game, and you're sharing some with me. Xavier Smith, Javier Smith. It drives me insane that LeBron seems to think him standing stationary with the ball is more important than our entire offense. Does Coach agree LA looks so much better with Rondo running the point? Oh, yes. I might do a montage of LeBron just killing the offense, just catching it and dribbling and staring and then, through the legs and dribbling. It's almost like he's like overthinking the whole thing. And as a coach, remember, what I value is ball movement. I want players to be involved and get a rhythm. He certainly does not want that. So it's a stylistic thing to some degree, but I would probably argue that, it helps the other teammates get more in the flow. And we've seen LeBron do this his entire career. And that's why it's kind of hard to play with him sometimes, because you don't get the ball as much. You don't end up moving a lot on offense a lot of the time. And it's got to be frustrating. So, yeah, it's a weird thing, but like he is that good that they can still generate enough points. And by the way, AD was amazing. Oh my goodness gracious. My gosh, thank you so much for all these super chats. Connor Rekwa. Lakers win with free throw shooting. Well, let's go to the tape here. Let's go to the, where did I, oh my goodness, which tab is open with the box score here? So let me expand this so I can see it a little bit easier. But the Lakers went, I'm worried. I'm now worried to see because I didn't look at it before. But the Lakers went 28 of 35, 80% from the free throw line. The Nuggets went 20 of 23 from the free throw line, 87%. So the Lakers got 12 more free throw attempts. Now, a lot of times you might say, and that's like 6 drives or whatever. You could say the Nuggets didn't attack the hoop that strong, so it's natural they wouldn't have gotten as many free throws. But I think it's pretty safe to say the Nuggets had their share of drives to the basket. They didn't result in a call. Certainly, what I just pointed out there when they were down by 3 and 3 minutes to go was the huge. So it's got to be frustrating if you're a Nuggets fan, because it pretty much ended the series, right? 3-1, that's it. It's over. But we'll get into that because there's some issues we got to blame the Nuggets for. Let's see here. Nation JJ, thank you so much. You guys are all friend of the breakdown now because you keep popping up here in the super chat. Lakers win the rebounds. Okay, that's a good point too. So the rebounding, remember, Anthony Davis again did not get a rebound until the fourth quarter, but it didn't really matter because the Lakers had more offensive rebounds than them, and it wasn't like killing them. So the fact that he wasn't grabbing them, but somebody else was fine. But let's see, the total rebounds, 41 for the Lakers and 27 for the Nuggets. Now, part of the thing was interesting about that was, the Nuggets were scorching for most of the game. They were way over 55% from the field, but they finished at 50.6. So they cooled down. They missed their last 5, I think, shots in a row down the stretch. And the fourth quarter, they really just cooled down. They could not get a bucket, an easy bucket to go down. So that increased. I would be willing to say that in the second half, the Lakers got more of those rebounds because there just wasn't a lot of rebounds to grab in the first half. They were making so many of them. The Nuggets, the Lakers got outshot. They only shot 47.5%, but in fact, the Nuggets came back. They were being outshot in the field goal attempts in the first half by 9 or 10, based on offensive rebounding and then some turnovers that they were giving up. So the Nuggets, they shot themselves in the foot just enough, and then you throw on top some of these bad calls that they can't overcome that. The Lakers are that good, are too good to overcome that. So. Great point. Oh my goodness. Christian Hall, thank you so much. Refs bad on both sides. Braun made free throws and locked up Murray. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's probably 4 possessions he had Murray, I think. And he got a foul on one. He should have gotten a foul on the other one for a shooting foul. They didn't call it. But other than that, I think it went fine. I don't know. Joker. Wow, thank you so much. Lakers need to keep running that play where the refs blow the whistle on the Nuggets for breathing too heavily. Right. Well, if you're a Lakers fan, I'm sure you're really happy at that. But there's still some life in the Nuggets, no matter what happened. I mean, this game was teetering on, kind of getting to a blowout. And the Nuggets continually kept coming back. They'd get a stop, they'd get a turnover, and then they'd come down, hit a 3, get some free throws with the clock not running down. They're just that tough about it. So it's really impressive with that. But you can't make those little mistakes they made, and it really just kills them when you got LeBron on the other side. Let's see here. Jay Delgado, my goodness, thank you so much. CRC, I wonder where that is. What's CRC? I don't know. Tell me what CRC is in the comments. Look at the rebounds. Huge difference from game 3. Was it a huge difference? Because, so we just talked about it, right? Total rebounds, Lakers had 41 and the Nuggets had 33. Let's go to game 3 and see what that was really quickly. Let me do it this way on the stats.nba.com. It might be a little easier to find. Scores. Let's go to the last game. So the last game, let's find out real quickly. Lakers grabbed 25 total rebounds, and the Nuggets got 44. So it was a switch to some degree. Rebounding doesn't always seem to matter this much these days, because 3-pointers kind of negate a lot of that. But let's see here. Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much, Jay Delgado, 216. Jacob Felton, thank you. My goodness, really generous. Nuggets wanted to go down 3-1, always Nuggets in 7. Right, they got him right where they want him, right? The Nuggets got him down 1-3, and they're going to win 3 in a row and come back. I mean, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be them. But let's see if they can just get game 5 first and go from there. How did the Lakers shut down Jokic? Nikhil Attar, thank you so much. Old friend of the breakdown. The Lakers shut down Jokic. Well, I thought it was interesting because they interviewed Vogel at the third quarter, beginning of the third quarter, and I think what his point was real well said was that because Murray was doing so well and was so aggressive in scoring, they kind of took away shots from Jokic. But Jokic came back in the second half. He got a lot of his shots up. Let's see here. He ended up 6 for 13, 16 points, and he was shooting a lot better than that until the very end. So he got, he made up for it to some degree in that second half. But yeah, I think when Murray is cooking like that, then, everyone's going to take a few less field goal attempts. Now, what else did they do? Well, they started Dwight, and that seemed to help. Dwight was a nice, revelation for them. Did very nicely, although it wasn't a factor at all in the fourth quarter. I don't think he played in the fourth quarter. And so I think he had his 12 points and 11 rebounds pretty much in the first half. So because the Lakers kept going smaller and smaller. So at some point, yeah, they wanted to go with, Anthony Davis at center, and then the Nuggets were going smaller and smaller too. So there wasn't a chance for Dwight to get back in. So that was what they pretty much did, because I don't think they doubled him at all. In my mind's eye, I can't think, but I'll have to go through the footage and look a little bit more carefully. Nation JJ, my goodness, thank you so much again. Loved having Dwight as starting in response to the lack of rebounds in Game 3. Lakers contact NBA, but LBJ's few Game 3 free throw attempts, normal league practice. Oh, my goodness gracious. How many did LeBron did not have that many? Let's see. LeBron in Game 3 had... he shot 2 free throws. Interesting. Nothing jumped out in that film, although I wasn't looking for that specifically, why he didn't get more. But, LeBron is, he's played 17 years. He doesn't elevate like he used to. He's not as quick, whatever. He's powerful still. But, there are times when, his shot gets blocked or he misses, and he just doesn't elevate like he used to. He's still 80% of himself, or 80, whatever that is. But you have to remember when, back in the day, 5 years ago, he would just... the rim would be broken. He would dunk it so hard, and he'd finish so well. And it's just the natural evolution. And then as a result of that, some of these foul calls won't go for him either, because he's not getting fouled, but it kind of you want to just sort of expect that he would, because how did he not make that? But it's just sort of the very slow, inevitable decline of every player. Baroon Respood, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Nuggets unlucky with the refs. It also seemed like they were unlucky on deflections. Almost all deflections went to Lakers. Now, there's a great stat in Game 3, something like they lead the league in deflections. I think it's probably on stats.nba.com if we can look it up real quick. But the point being that, yes, their hands are really active. They dig, they reach. They gamble and they won't get called a foul on it, and that's how you should teach your players now. Teach them to reach. See, you know what I mean? A lot of times it doesn't get called, and you get steals and you get deflections, and it really disrupts the whole offense. So without questions, let me see if I can do sortable team stats. Let's go to Hustle, because that's where it is. And let me see if I can find deflections here. Deflections. Okay, so in the playoffs, the Lakers are second in the league behind the Heat in deflections per game. And it's that's a big part of their thing. They really are causing a lot of havoc there for sure, and it's causing some problems for the Nuggets, without question. Let's see, Randall J05. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. The refs gave the Lakers this game. Well, they didn't help. I mean, they helped a little bit, but listen, we'll talk about some of the rotations that Malone's doing that are troubling to me in a second. See, but certainly the refs, yeah, that one call really was what I point to. Oh, but then also at the very end with 30 seconds to go and the Nuggets down by 6, Jokic shoots a 3 in the corner, and LeBron is right up on top of him, which is, but then Jokic lands right on LeBron's feet. That's a no-brainer. That's a clear-cut, completely a call. That doesn't have to be an interpretation or anything. He didn't let him land. I think that was also Capers, who just was completely blind. He watched the shot and didn't even give a look towards the shooting or how that unfolded at the end. That was not good either. Because you think the Nuggets would have wanted 3 free throws and the ball back with 5 or 6 seconds to go, maybe with the down 3. Yeah. RD Covarrubias. Oh my goodness. Thank you very much for, oh my goodness. Really, really generous. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your work. Thank you for doing what you do. I'm in, Coach. You know what? RD Covarrubias, are you the guy that also retweets my the links on Twitter? Let me know on the comments. I'll see if I can see it. Yeah, thank you so much for doing that all the time. Adar Shmital. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Braun looks injured to me aside from his slow pace as a ball handler. His first step genuinely looks a bit slower compared to regular season. Agree. That's an interesting take. You know, he was wincing a little bit, like there's something going on, with him, like in the groin or in the hip area, and we know we've had that issue before in the past. So yeah, maybe he's not as explosive. That could very well be something I can see. It's hard to sort of even get into the regular season mode now. What did that look like back then? But maybe there's a little bit. He's nicked up or banged up a little bit. So I could see that. Felipe Castello Bronco. Oh my goodness, thank you. R. What is R? Oh, I missed if you told me I forgot to look when someone told me what the other one was, but thank you so much. Wow, very generous. Super fan. Oh, from Brazil. There it is. Lakers are in that finals. With that fourth title, LBJ surpasses MJ. Keep up with the great work, Coach. Thank you so much, Felipe. Lakers are in the finals. They're up 3-1. It's a done deal. There's no way they're losing this thing. Now, will they get the fourth NBA? No, I think that LBJ needs to surpass MJ in titles for him to surpass MJ overall, I think. I don't think the fourth one's going to do it, unfortunately, for LeBron. Excuse me. Luca Della. Oh, my goodness. You always have the best emojis or whatever these are, GIFs. No, they're not GIFs. They're not emojis. What are they? But thank you so much. Wow, fireworks. Nation JJ, again, thank you. Wow, is it normal for teams to contact NBA about a few free throws? Yes. In the playoffs, they'll send tapes, they'll complain, they'll call, whether the NBA front office or whatever answers the phone. I don't know if they leave a voicemail, but without question, Stu Jackson used to be in charge of that. He was my boss when I was at Wisconsin as a basketball manager. So I've had him on the show a couple times, and he has. He talked about a lot where they get calls and he's got to deal with it and calm people down, talking them out from the ledge. It's all the gamesmanship. It's all part of it. And I think it does have an effect. I think there have been times where the refs come out the next game and behave differently and see things differently. So it's worth it. Javante Baines, hey, thank you so much. Crazy how every time the Lakers win, it's because of the refs. Lakers can't get credit for a win, man, and knowing how every single win is the refs, right? So that's why I want to say, they were a little bit of a part of it for sure, but listen, we have to give them credit. Deflections, it's all the little dirty things. When I say dirty, the little lunch pail things. Hard hat things, they're putting on their hard hat and going to work. So the deflections, rebounds, they were doing all the hustle things really, really well. Despite that, though, man, the Nuggets were right there. They were right there ready to kind of sneak in and steal that game. But no, the Lakers have a really good mix of, you have, Anthony Davis doing ridiculous things in that first half, at least. Just, couldn't stop. Nobody could stop him. And then LeBron does his thing. Rondo is really saving them. He's saving them. He's without him, they're not winning these games. He is running the show. He's actually doing what LeBron a lot of times does. Is he's setting guys up in a different way that's probably is as helpful to the Lakers. So let's give all that credit to them for sure. But it just sucks when a couple of those calls are so crucial. Get missed. Let's see here. Let's see here. Go back. Nation JJ, going to add the join button to your channel. Am I going to add the join button to my channel? What's the join button? How do I do that? What do you join? The live chat? Why am I not unaware of a join channel? Somebody tell me the join button. I'm looking right now in the regular comments. Oh my goodness! And by the way, big shout out to Gigolo Puff for being out there. Oh, is it I see. It's the subscription model. I don't know. Do you want me to do that? I guess, is this what we would do for the subscription? And I guess I could throw a couple videos in there too for you guys only. I've thought about it, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, it's like Patreon. Yeah. It's funny because we have a Patreon on my political podcast and that's doing really well. And it's a really cool community. So, hey, maybe I'll do that. I was thinking about doing it for coaches, but maybe we'll just do it for everybody and just have a do these. I can do these, whatever. All right. Well, give me some more ideas about what else I can do. I guess the answer is what? Special little, videos, pre-edited videos, and then do these for you guys too, special. So interesting. All right, I'll think about that. Thank you, Nation JJ. Green Wave 56. My goodness, very generous. Thank you. The ref's bad down the stretch, but I'll take it. 5 wins from a title. Don't think we could get back to this point a few years ago. Didn't think. Yes. I mean, listen, it's the Lakers. They're going to, figure out a way to make it happen. But you're right. It was pretty long to be in the wilderness for you guys out there. So it must feel good to get back there, with AD and LeBron for sure. Jason Domingo, thank you so much. If Salamat, if LBJ does not win the chip this year, do you think he still has a chance in the next 2 to 3 years? No. Shout out to Renji the Fat Cat. All right. I think this might be his last best chance. I think his performance is going to, again, natural, inevitable. It's going to continue to decline. But by the way, they might pick up another great player to play alongside him and AD. And really quickly, the podcast is called the Muckrake Podcast. But if you're a Trump supporter, I don't think you're going to like it. Now, getting back to, let's see here, but it's doing really well. So if you like that kind of thing, it's good. Mike Partner is a New York Times bestselling writer. Anyway, where were we down this? Okay, so and here's the other problem: you got teams like Dallas. You got teams like Denver. You got teams like, all these other teams are getting better and better, and they're going to be really hard to beat sooner than later. And so that's why LeBron is, going to probably have a hard time getting back. Tadeo Peralta Encinas. Oh my goodness. Mil gracias. Is very, very generous. And hey you back. All right. He's doing a little, why is he turning his back on me though? What is he even doing? What is he? He's hey you, and then he's waving a hand, and then he's turning around. Okay. I don't even know. Maybe it's a she. I don't even know. KVR, thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. Let's see here. Bernard Vivas. My goodness, really generous. Thank you. What is up with LBJ's jumper? It's looking just terrible. He's not really jumping, which, then goes to this theory that maybe he is hurt a little bit and it hurts to jump and land. He's not really getting up. Not that he ever needed to get that high, but it really looks like he's barely getting, off the ground on the jumper. And I feel like the whole rhythm is now being thrown off. His free throws are always sort of like KD-ish now, where he's kind of coming across and flinging it. But he made a lot of them tonight. Why not post Jokic more? He destroys him every time he goes down there, and that's probably going to force the Lakers to double. I agree. They fall in love with him on the perimeter doing handoffs way too much. They need to get him down there, and they did that in the last game. Not tonight, but the game before, and it was really helpful. So I agree, especially if the AD had to guard him. I needed to look, because remember, after AD sprained his ankle, which, they should be a little bit concerned now that it's going to stiffen up on him, what might happen in Game 5 with him. They should be concerned about that a little bit. And they would have been able to back him down. I'm not sure how much resistance he would have been able to offer with that one foot as a problem. But yeah, great point, Bernardo. KVR again. Oh my goodness, thank you. Why does Rondo's fade look so nasty? You mean his hair? I mean, it kind of looks like a chia pet, right? And it's because it's just sort of his like really shaved and then just goes big right on the edge. There isn't a fade, I guess. Is that the point? It looks so weird. Yes. But almost as weird as LeBron's beard, he's dyed it like so black that it's like you can see into his head. I don't know. That spooks me too. Adarsh Mittal, oh my goodness, thank you, my goodness, that was really generous. Who do you think is the best player in the NBA right now? For me, it's between Steph, unmatched gravity, LeBron, best combo passing, scoring, defense, and AD, best two-way. KL's playmaking is too poor. I don't know. Kawhi deserves more credit for his playmaking, but, after his last performance, which I think he was playing hurt as well, he didn't look good at all. And it's always like, what have you done for me lately? Steph, we haven't seen for a while, so it's like, I don't remember. We're kind of pushing him down. But, it's got to be those guys. AD, he's kind of winning me over the last few games a little bit more, I think. But I don't know if AD is quite up there to be, that role. I think you got to be a little more of a playmaker with the ball. And we're missing somebody. I guess, there's Giannis, but Giannis is also a bit unskilled. He's just raw physical, talent. So yeah, it's probably a good look, but we're missing somebody else besides Kawhi and AD and LeBron and Steph. Who are we missing? Doncic, okay. You've heard my hot take about Luka, right? No? If you listen to the podcast, I've said it, and I've been saying it since they were playing in the playoffs, the Denver was. But are you ready for my hot take? Are you ready? Are you ready? Somebody tell me you're ready for my Luka hot take. No. Oh, KD. KD too. Yes, KD is probably above all those guys. Although we'd have to see what happens when he comes back from his injury. But okay, here's my hot take on Luka real quick. I think the guy can average a 30-point triple double for 12 years in a row. So if Luka could do that, if he could average 30, 12, and 10 for 12, 13 years in a row, isn't that the greatest of all time? Who else has ever done that? And I know different eras and different pace and yada yada, but just different usage rates. But I don't know. How do you argue against that? No one will ever get, I don't think, a 30-point triple double for 12 straight years. If that happens, I would give it to him for sure. So there's my hot take. Thank you, everybody. Don't hang up. Please don't hang up and close that tab. Adrash Mital. Oh my goodness. Thank you again. Oh, I already answered that one. So Duramagen. Let's see, Duramagen. Gosh, I don't know. I can't figure out what it is. But either way, thank you so much. That NBA is rigged. That is all. Well, listen, if you're a Nuggets fan, I totally understand why you think it's rigged. All fans of teams against LeBron in the playoffs have always felt that way. It's just a thing. And, there are good arguments for both sides, without question. Rigged is a little bit strong anyway. But Luca Della, my goodness gracious, now you got giving me a trophy, give yourself a trophy. Again, thank you so much, Luca. Let's all give him some love in the comments. Thank you. Wow. Khalil Nixon. Thank you. How did LeBron get a foul called by not using his hands with Murray initiating contact? It was a blocking foul because there was some contact. Murray, you saw, did get a little bit of a leg into the, not a knee, but like a thigh, a LeBron's thigh into his thigh area. So there was a little bit of a collision. I didn't think it was enough to merit a foul, and I thought they were going to overturn that for sure, and they didn't. That was kind of really surprising. So for all the rigged people out there, there's an example where it wasn't rigged, because you'd have thought if it was, then they would have rescinded that foul on LeBron. Nation JJ, again, thank you. Who wants Ball Breakdown emojis when coach adds join? Oh, is that you can make your own emojis? You know what? I am so ignorant about having the whatever it's called. Are we calling it join? I guess that's what it's called. I get those emails and I always sort of just look over them, but I'm gonna really look into it. Listen, if you guys want to do it, I would love to be able to do that and create a community like that where we could all have a special place. Frank Herrera, Heat versus Lakers finals. What can the Heat do to win? Am I wrong to think that the Heat can shoot the three better against the Lakers than the Celtics? Can the Heat hide Duncan on defense versus the Lakers? Okay, let's go one thing at a time. These are all amazing questions, Frank. So the Heat, we're going to have to outshoot them, I think, without question. I mean, that's their recipe anyway. And so they're going to have to make, their 5 or 6 more threes a game consistently and then try and keep the turnovers down. If they do both those things, they can beat the Lakers. The Lakers don't necessarily shoot the three that well. Although, let's go to the game tonight. I'm just kind of curious what the three ball was. So the Lakers went 10 for 30. And the Nuggets went 10 for 28. Yikes. So that was another big thing. The Nuggets shoot a little bit better from the three, and then they win the game, right? But again, we keep thinking that the Lakers guards can't keep up with these really dynamic guards. And listen, Jamal was destroying everybody, at the end of the day, they win these games. It doesn't seem to matter. So that's one thing. So the Heat would need to really shoot well and keep the turnovers down. Now, can the Heat hide Duncan Robinson on defense versus the Lakers? Yeah. I mean, they could put Duncan Robinson on someone like Caruso, who doesn't really handle the ball and penetrate, even though he probably could against Duncan. They might let him try. But who else can they hide him on? They could put him on Morris. I think that would be okay on Markieff. And then as far as the starters go, how would this? Let's go through this real quick if we can, because so you got. Let's just pretend, I guess, Dwight Howard starts again. So Bam on Dwight Howard. Jimmy will be on. Oh, this is interesting. Let's see. Who is the starting 5 now? Okay, Robinson, Jimmy, Dragic, and who's their other guard? Oh my God, I'm complete. This is my mind on the NBA playoffs. Dragic and who's in the backcourt? Is it Dragic, Jimmy, Robinson, Bam, and Jay Crowder? Okay. So Jay Crowder, yeah, they're going to have their hands full. I don't know how they guard Anthony Davis. Now, Crowder could guard LeBron, and, Jimmy can guard LeBron a little bit. They're tough like that. But you're talking about Davis in terms of length, and they don't really have that. So you'd have to put Robinson on – you have to put, like, Crowder on LeBron or Crowder on Davis, Jimmy on LeBron, Bam on Dwight. You have to put Duncan Robinson on Danny Green. And then, yeah, Caldwell Pope and Dragic. That's how they do it. That's not bad. I think that Robinson can handle that because he could, Danny Green's just going to spot up and Robinson can do that and help and recover and all that stuff. So thank you guys for helping my mind be a little bit sharper than it usually it's supposed to be. So hopefully that answered your question, Frank. Guoyang, sorry. Thank you. Coach, when will you coach the tournament again? Oh, my goodness. I don't know. It was that was hard, and it was putting together the team was really hard. So I got to figure out a way where I can have somebody help me do that part, and so all I can focus on is coaching it, and then I would totally do it. I think again, but man, that's cutthroat stuff. The tournament, if you don't know, am I wearing my shirt? Yeah, I'm wearing my shirt here. Let's see if you can see it. This is the TBT from 2015, and so, but yeah, it was fun. It was just really. I mean, that was as tense as anything to go through that, and to lose the game in that was rough. But nonetheless, I would do it if I could find someone to help me get the players. Let's see here. Hop Hayes, thank you so much. Totally random question, but who should the Pacers hire as their next head coach? Keep the content coming. Thank you so much. Well, let's see. Who should the Pacers? It was weird because I was hearing from the little birdies about why Nate McMillan quit because it sounded like he just quit because he wanted to. They wanted him to run a little more of a modern offense, and he didn't want to do that. I think that's what I heard. That sounds so bizarre, and almost like it can't be right. So obviously that's what they're looking for. They want like a D'Antoni, but it sounds like D'Antoni is going to go to Philly, but he might have fun in Indiana as well. So then who is the other people like that, like the D'Antonis? Modern offense spread. Let's see. Donovan is gone. I don't know. And they might even go young and sort of unheralded. Who would be probably good? Good would be from the Nets who got fired. Kenny Atkinson. He might be good for that. That might be a good situation for him to get them over the top. And they're young. He can help them develop. Let's see here. Meredith Kufor. Thank you so much. By the way, Coach, I'm a guy. Okay, sorry. Oh, really? Forgive me, Meredith. I don't know many Merediths who are first name guys. So forgive me. I still got love for you. Okay, I got love for you, my man. I still don't get why you can't goaltend your own team. Shot, pass, what's the difference? Why you can't goaltend your own team's shot? Oh, well, I think the whole idea is the rule is you got to let the shot go in and you can't interfere with it. So if it's rolling around and it's shot by your teammate, you can't just kind of knock it straight down. Now you could do that in FIBA, and that's awesome, and they should do that in the NBA because it'd be even more exciting with better athletes like that. But they don't do it. I think it's an old rule from way back in the George Mikan days. In the Wilt Chamberlain days, when they had each team had maybe one guy, or maybe a region had one tall guy that would just completely affect the game, and they had to figure something out. But I think it's time to look at that. So it's a really good point. Quick Draw Chev, wow, thank you so much. Rondo, yay, yeah. I mean, listen, it's great to see Rondo out there doing his thing. And also defensively, he gambles, he gets out of position for sure. But man, he gets deflections off the wazoo. He's throwing dimes. He hit a big three, I believe. Let me check that. Am I crazy? He hit a three. Yeah, he hit the 1-3 he took. 4 for 6 otherwise. Hit another, they gave him a jumper and he hit it. And then he had 7 assists in 22 minutes. Great. Now, interestingly enough, if you look at the plus minus, Rondo, for instance, was a -9. Where almost everybody else was positive. That makes no sense to me, right? And then plus minus is a noisy stat, and I'll use it if I can manipulate it to make a point, but a lot of times I'll look at it and be like, that's just not right, it doesn't work. So that doesn't clearly reflect Rondo had a really positive impact in that game. Luca, my goodness, thank you very much. Please, you're too generous. I really appreciate that, though, and that's really the sentiments are amazing as well. You are amazing. Elnor Paredes. Hey, Coach, what is your take on why guys like Shane Larkin and Mike James don't have NBA jobs? Is it more of an opportunity or defense thing? That's funny. Shane Larkin, when I've seen him now in the EuroLeague, is a different player. I don't know what it is, but he's awesome. He is like Steve Nash, right? And he just was not lightweight. Now, of course, the defense is different. It's a little bit less athletic. They don't rotate the same ways they don't rotate as well. I think the defense in EuroLeague is could be better. And I don't think they work on it as a thing. I think they focus on offense. And so as a result, if you come over there, all of a sudden, what you couldn't quite do in the NBA, you can do a lot better. But Shane Larkin, in my mind, really developed more over there after he fizzled out in the NBA. I think. Mike James is a bad man, and he was a bad man in the NBA. He got a shot, and he played, and did really well. So the next question is, why didn't he stick? There has to be a story. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's fair or not to him, but all I can tell you is that he should be a first guard off the bench. He really should, from what I saw, what I remember. But sometimes people get labeled a certain way. Something happens behind the scenes we don't hear about, and you don't get your another shot, and that's probably too bad for most people. So there you go. Jay the Dream One, thank you. My goodness, LeBron James straight up out here assaulting Jamal Daddy Schmurry. I guess I wouldn't call it assault, but certainly it merited the foul, and they didn't get it, and it was huge. So it's really too bad. Now, at least it wasn't like a tie game with 5 seconds to go. They didn't call it there or whatever. But it was big. It was a 3-point game, lots of time left. That changes everything. Sacha Shinoy, thank you so much. My goodness, just thank you, really. Oh, and they have a question in a second. But what the F is going on with LeBron's shot? So we talked about it a little bit, right? He doesn't elevate like he normally does, which is not a lot anyway. But he really, to me, looks like he's not getting up on that. And he's a streaky shooter, right? He's never really been. We had one season where he was like elite somehow. And that was probably because he was hanging in the air a little bit less before releasing, but his whole rhythm tends to be off and uncalibrated. And when I say rhythm, it's like when are your arms coming up into the shot in conjunction with when are your knees straightening. I've done a bunch of videos. I think you've probably seen them. We talked about that, and I'll do some more. And that's a big one. And then it also translates into his free throws, which he actually did well. How did he shoot from the line? 11 for 14, which again was big because typically I got to check, but for a lot of the season he was shooting 70% or whatever, so he would have missed a few. The game would have been closer. Why is Danny Green shooting so poorly? Sacha Shinoy, great question, and that came up on Twitter because Shaq was talking about how he's a shooting coach and whatever, and Shaq's suggestion was he needed to follow through, and what I think Shaq is feeling there, it's not follow through that you have to hold. It's that when Danny Green shoots, he goes like this, and he doesn't straighten his arm. So when you watch Steph shoot it, he will snap the wrist and the arm at one time, even when he shoots it from short distances. Danny Green will always go like this. Now, it's not easy to get that replicated, especially when you're talking about being under duress with a lot of pressure on a defense. So he's doing this thing with his elbow doesn't straighten out, and I almost feel like what Shaq is thinking is he's like, you need to follow through, which means you need to extend your arm all the way through and look like a Steph. He's never done that, and as a result, I think that's why he's really, really just inconsistent. And even when he was, the sharpshooter of the Spurs, he was inconsistent. I think what we're seeing now with high volume shooters from behind the arc is you might actually kind of shoot well for a season, and then you won't shoot well for a season, and then you'll shoot well for a month, and you won't shoot well for a month. I think that the cycles could be a lot bigger than we think, and that's what I see from Danny Green. Let's see here. Liam McKenna. Wow, thank you so much for the super chat. This is great. Brian Holiday. Really generous. LeBron's defense on the stretch made a big difference. It did. I mean, I guess we're all talking about the Murray. So, yeah. I mean, certainly he got that stop. He didn't call the foul. Listen, he got a stop on the Jokic three in the corner. They didn't call it. He was underneath him. But no, that kind of intensity and that physical presence is intimidating. It's coming at you, and it's like a tank. And if you're Jamal Murray, you might get a little scared from that and want to get away from it. So totally, it was a nice throwback to see him do that. Bernardo Vivas, thank you. Oh my goodness, I'm back to giving myself credit for calling the Morris for Harris move. Malone should go to it more. Also, am I crazy to think the Nuggets are one wing playmaker away from being the best team in the league? Murray and Jokic are really absurd. Yes, so that one wing player, though, is Michael Porter Jr. They already have him. Millsap is the problem, and he's a buzzkill. Now, I know that he was able to have some success against Anthony Davis, but then again, after you make like 6, 7, 8 in a row, you're bound to miss, right? I almost feel like he's, it doesn't matter who's guarding him at that point. He's going to miss a couple shots. But meanwhile, Millsap on offense is just killing them. It's like, he loses the ball, he misses the shots, he got, whatever. He hit 1 3 in the corner that was big. Like, thank goodness he did something. But he only played 17 minutes because of foul trouble, and that gave Porter Jr. like he got to 21. Porter Jr. should be at like 26. And because he shot really well and he gave them what they needed. And I think that whatever Porter Jr. gives you that's better on offense than Millsap makes up for whatever defense you might get from Millsap. Millsap's not really that great a defender anyway. He's not really in shape. He doesn't move as well as he used to. So Millsap is really just an albatross. And I think they need to figure out how to cut his minutes without disrupting whatever they are concerned about as far as chemistry, because he's a starter. But I think you got to go a little bit more with offense. I mean, if it wasn't clear to you from before, tonight it's offense. Like, you're going to have to outscore the Lakers, and you can't keep Millsap, keep playing him. Now Plumlee also got 14 minutes, and he was a little bit dicey. I've seen him play a little bit better in this series even, but 14 minutes is the absolute max you give him. But they also ran these lineups with Plumlee and Jokic together. And you know what? It's worth looking up because I'm curious how often they did that across the season. So I'm going to go over to NBA Wowie and look that up real quick while we talk, because it's a spacing thing. Now I know you can get away with it because they'll play two bigs. But their two bigs are like Anthony Davis and LeBron, and you're playing, Jokic and Plumlee together. Let's look at that, Jokic and Plumlee. So I think I looked this up before, but okay, that two-man lineup across the whole season from all the way played 99 minutes the entire season. I have a feeling if I make this date range for the playoffs, let's see, when did the playoffs start? August 20th. Let's just say August 20th. So let's do that filtership. So since then, yeah, you know how many minutes they play together? 3, and then tonight they probably played 3 or 4. So he's throwing that out there in a must-win game. They haven't done it with each other before. I think that's just not a great. That's tough, man. It's like we saw. By the way, I think my greatest tweet of all time. If you missed it, well, you have to go find it. It was with Solomon Hill came in, and have you seen Solomon Hill? Anyhow, the point being that he had a great close-up of him, and you got to check it out. It went slightly viral, but they throw him out there. He hadn't played a minute in the playoffs, not 1 minute, and now you throw him in there up 2-1. Like, this is the game of the season for you, and that's tough, man. That's really hard on a player. All right, let's get back to all the super chats. Thank you guys so much. Xavier Javier Smith, we got to find out if it's Xavier or Javier. I'm team trade Danny for a draft pick at this point. Yeah, but what are you going to get? A second-round pick? Probably. That might be it. As of now, they probably need to keep him because it's not easy to find a guy who can shoot threes and play some defense, and unless they can draft that. Liam McKenna. Why did Milos Teodosic stick? And by the way, I'm pretty sure it's Teodosic. When I've heard him do it in the EuroLeague, that's how I think they say it. But Teodosic, I don't know. He's my favorite. Milos is my favorite player in the world. And if you haven't seen him, look him up. He played for the Clippers for a couple of years. I think it was just a bad situation to some degree that he couldn't do what he normally would do. He couldn't dominate the ball because other players were on the team that could also handle the ball. But when he is the guy handling it and he's throwing those dimes, it's like poetry. It's beautiful. It's jazz. It's ballet. It's all those things. So I think that was a part of it. And I think, it's too bad. They got him at the very end. He was, I think, 30 when he first got over here. And that was just a little bit long in the tooth for him. So it's really too bad. He missed the window, and he should have been able to do it when he was 25. I think he'd be awesome. Jacob Felton. Kuz got the worst defense fouled for Porter's jump fake twice from 3. Right. Well, remember, you want to jump in the air and contest threes in the air. That's not bad defense as long as you're rotating and landing and then pop right back into the play. But you want to be the second jumper as well. You want to be disciplined to be the second jumper so you don't get faked in the air like that. And that's what he was doing. And one of them he made, it was not even like a shot fake, and he jumped by anyway. So Kuz needs to really work on that. He needs visual training as well. It's not enough to just do strength and conditioning where you're working on your lateral quickness, whatever. He needs to train the visual defensive feedback. He needs to play defense on really good players in the summer in a controlled environment, but a way that he can really improve. It's not enough to play like in those runs that no one plays defense in anyway at UCLA. Khalil Nixon. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Oh shoot. Kaylee. Oh my goodness, it is. Well, let's see. It's spelled Kaylee. Oh, I see. Is this like from Hawaii? Kaylee. Kaylee. So forgive me. Yeah, it's Hawaiian. I knew it without even reading it. And many people not from Hawaii have trouble. Can we please talk about Kuzma's horrible defense falling for 2 fun picks in a row? You and Jacob are on the same page here. So I kind of just talked about it. Yes. So the key here is the discipline of being the second jumper. You might think it might be hard, but when I've worked on this, because it's a little bit new, a new concept to jump in the air to contest to the good shooters. Because remember, in the NBA at least, what they've done the studies, and what they've realized, I think, is that what the main thing that causes a field goal percentage to go down on a jump shot is a contest in the air. So, but you don't want to get caught with a shot fake. So you have to train to be the second jumper. And when you do closeout drills to do this and you just verbally cue it, I was having like 10, 11, 12-year-old kids I was working on it with them, and they were getting really good at being the second jumper. And then as a result, not getting caught up in the air on those fakes. Although a lot of times, forcing a shooter to catch the ball, shot fake, dribble, sidestep, interrupt all of that rhythm, and they have to shoot it, that's not bad either. That's a win. But I think in a year or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever that's going to be, that shot fake, sidestep 3 is going to be such a good shot that you can't afford to let the good shooters do that. And then we'll have more and more good shooters. So the game is evolving, and defense is going to have to evolve because the offense is just getting too darn good. So thank you so much, Kaylee E, for the question and the clarification on your name. BB Coach JW33. Michael Porter Jr. averages how many points next year? I hope he learns how to play defense. The Lakers targeted him with LeBron all night. Thanks for all the great stuff, Coach. Hey, thank you. So, yes, I think Michael... Well, here's the question. Millsap retires. Millsap, whatever they do with him. They install Michael Porter Jr. in the starting lineup. He plays 31 minutes a game. He scores 23 a game. I'll go right... Let's see. What did he score this year? I'm curious. I don't think it was that high because they were kind of yanking around his minutes all year. Michael Porter Jr. averaged... Who's someone going to beat me? No? This year, he averaged only 9 points a game. So, yeah, he's going to easily double that plus some, for sure. And it'll be exciting. Let's see here. And then, yeah, he'll get better. He'll get better. He's too good of an athlete not to be better on defense. And so just on that alone, he'll get better at that. But, someone needs to sit down and really go over film and then train him as well. Him and Kuzma could kind of work out this summer. Actually, that wouldn't be bad to go one-on-one against each other and work on those things. Bernardo Vivas, oh my God, again, thank you for your generosity. Last 2 questions, I promise. Hey, you can ask the questions as much as you like in the Super Chat. What could Spanoulis have been in the NBA? Going forward, who you got, Trey or Jamal? Spanoulis is that balding guy, right, in Greece? I don't know. I mean, he is really, really good for what he does, right? He can shoot and he passes. He's like that slower than Steve Nash, right? But I just think he would have gotten roasted on defense. It would have been tough. But I think he probably, and I don't know if he could have got the shot off. His shot is slow getting off, and he's probably like not even 6 feet. I don't know. I might be crazy, but make sure I'm talking about the right Spanoulis. So yeah, I don't think that would have worked that well. But he's fun to watch for sure. Going forward, who you got, Trey or Jamal? Ooh, gosh, I love me some Trey. That's a really great question. In fact, there's so many great guards who are like 23 and under. It's crazy. And what's interesting is that, all the 10-year-olds, when Steph first hit the scene, these are now, let's see, Steph first really started doing it, 7 years ago? So they're now 17, 18, 19. We're going to start seeing all those kids who were influenced by Steph make it into the league and start doing Steph things. It's going to be off the hook with guards like that. So I think all of a sudden we're going to forget about all these great centers because we're going to have guards galore doing wondrous things with the ball on the dribble and the shooting and passing. So I think we're going to see a radical change based on the fact that Steph Curry, came on the scene and all those kids are now coming in. So watch for that. It's going to change the game for the better. I don't know, but it's going to change the game. Jacob Felton, my goodness, thank you so much. MPJ and Kuz working together on their defense. Right, well, listen, you want to work with somebody, like if you're going to go up against a trainer who's like, not an NBA player, that doesn't necessarily help you. You want an NBA player to guard you, and you want to guard an NBA player. So that would be perfect for both of them because they're both great offensive players. Well, MPJ is great, Kuz is good, and they can push each other for defensive stuff. So, my goodness. This super chat is off the hook tonight, guys. Thank you so much. N Starks 007, love it. Black Lives Matter. Trade Kuzma. Sign Cedi Osman for defense and Andre Drummond in the offseason. Seriously, where does Andre go next season? Do you want to replace Kuzma with Cedi? Okay. Okay, I guess. I wouldn't think that Osman is that much better on defense, right? Andre Drummond doesn't fit on that Lakers team unless they get rid of, JaVale, JaVale and like Dwight even. But I don't know. I don't know if Andre has a lot of value. I don't think I put a lot of value on him anyway. So he might not, they might be tired of him. Is he a free agent? Is that what's going on? I can't remember. Because if that's the case, they might not sign him again and trying to start over. And then where would he go? Like, the Charlotte or something would offer him some serious money because he's a name. But I just don't, I'm not a big fan of his game, to be honest. BB Coach JW33. Okay, thank you so much. One more question. Is Jokic a full potential version of Arvydas Sabonis? Great question. Probably, but here's the thing. Arvydas Sabonis was an athlete when he was, young. There's very little footage of it, but oh my God, he was like, God, who was he like? Arvydas Sabonis was the real athlete. He could really, really move. So he was like a better athlete than Luka. I don't want to choose like who's the white European dude, but like, who was he like? He was a really good athlete, like Bobby Jones. Nah, no one knows Bobby Jones anymore. Who is that now? Who's a good long athlete now that's like smooth and like an antelope? That's how he moved. So good. So Jokic is not quite that, but Jokic definitely has the same game without question. So yeah, it's an evolution from there. I wouldn't be surprised if they know each other. Sabonis is Lithuanian and Jokic is Slovenian. No, Jokic is Yugoslav. Where is Jokic from? Serbian. He's Serbia. So they might not be crossed over. And let's see. And then, is that right? I want to make sure that I got that right with Sabonis because I hate to Arvydas Sabonis, Lithuanian. So I don't know if there's like a Serbian Lithuania big rivalry or not, or they hate each other or not. But I wouldn't be surprised if they had crossed paths. Let's see here. Where do we leave off? Okay, Elner Paredes. Oh my goodness, thank you again. What is your advice on the best way to get into basketball shape? I agree with Pat Riley's heat culture and the conditioning and body fat. Well, I need to see. I've been hearing about it, but I don't know what it is. Are they just running suicides? Or are they actually doing basketball drills? I don't think you should be running suicides. I think whatever you want to do to get in basketball shape should be playing basketball and simulating basketball as much as possible. The starting and stopping, the random starting and stopping. Running in a straight line at a predetermined distance at a predetermined time doesn't represent basketball to me. So I wouldn't waste my practice time anymore doing those. I would make sure to design drills that are fast and are high intensity and lots of cardio while we're doing the skills of the actual game. That way I can make the practices more efficient. I can remember at one point I used to make my teams run. You run a suicide. You missed a layup? We're all running a suicide. And then somebody once said to me, well, how does running that suicide help your team make the layup that they missed? And I had no answer to that, and I stopped doing it from that day on. And my teams got a lot better. Let's see here. Mario Morales, thank you so much. Would the 4 teams in the conference finals right now still end up there if any of them had Ricky Rubio as starting point guard? Yeah, Ricky Rubio is great, man. He plays really good defense. He runs the show. He doesn't shoot so well, but I think they could probably handle that. These 4 teams, I think. Maybe like the Heat might have a hard time because they need shooting so much and scoring from those positions. But I think certainly the Lakers would have no problem with that, and the Celtics for sure he'd be good there. And then what else? Denver. Yeah, I think he'd be fine there. Now that said, like on the Eastern Conference Finals, like the way they're playing is not Eastern Conference Final level. Both these teams are having enough just shaky moments that they both don't look like they're Eastern Conference finalists. It's weird to me. So hopefully we'll get some better play in Game 5. But we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen there, but. All right, well let's start wrapping it up, man. I mean, this is like we're going on an hour strong here. I'll grab some questions here from the chat, I guess. Let's see here. Make a video about the right coach for each team. Wow, each team? That's like a 35-minute video, but I'll have to try and jump in there at least. What I'll probably end up doing is when the dust settles and we figure out who's going where is when I'll do one of those videos where I say, here's the coach, here's his players, and I'll do that. So I'll do it for New Orleans, I'll do it for Indiana, Philly. We got to do one for Donovan in Chicago, right? Let's see here. Oh boy, where did they go? Missed opportunity with the Tyler Hero video. Could have played Bonnie and Clyde's Holding Out for Hero. It's one of my favorite songs. I love, and it's not Bonnie Clyde. Oh my goodness gracious. Bonnie and Clyde is the movie. Bonnie Tyler is the singer, and one of my favorites. Total Eclipse of the Heart is one of my favorite songs of all time. If you don't know it, listen to the original version. It's an awesome video as well. I was going to do that, I think, but I was just in a hurry to get it done, and I didn't do it. But you know what? I have a feeling that Hero's going to give me another chance to do it. So stay tuned for that. Please go rewatch the fourth quarter. I'm sure I will. What about using Bol instead of Millsap? You know what? At this point, go ahead. Millsap is just such a problem for me watching him that I would take Bol for sure for a few minutes, see what happens. And you know what? How devastating when that Beefy really does well, and they were like, why didn't you do this before? But that's the toughest thing. And I actually had a conversation with Mike Malone about that way back in the day in Sacramento about like, that's the hardest thing about being a coach is figuring out which group of players to play together. It's always the hardest thing. And I do wonder if NBA coaches look enough at the lineup data. That's the one thing I've noticed. I feel like that they might not stare at it enough and realize that certain 5-man groups or 3-man groups play a lot better, and they miss that opportunity. Oh, another super chat. Wow, thank you, Ken Leung. Coach Nick, love your channel from Vancouver here. You know what? I might be your neighbor pretty soon if this doesn't go better with the politics in this country. Coach Frank Vogel's coaching underrated this year. He threw out his own today, a 3-2, and I don't think it went great for them, by the way. I don't like the rotations on the 3-2. What we did see on one of those was when you have a 3-2, like Danny Green is guarding the wing, and the guy on the block would have to guard the corner, but it was like Dwight, and he's never going to come out. So they went, boop, and threw the ball in the corner, wide open 3, switch. They did it twice in a row. Kuzma was the next guy doing it. You can't expect a guy to be guarding the wing, and then the ball gets passed to the corner, and he's going to run and chase and somehow be able to contest that. It's just no way. The ball just goes too fast on a pass. You have to have that guy closing out from that box, the block. And if they're going to run a 1-3-1, that's really going to be harder too, because that's AD, and like both those guys don't really like to close it out to the corners like that. So it was an interesting choice, but I don't think it went well for them, and I don't think they'll see that. But either way, we're seeing some really solid coaching from Vogel for sure. They have good game plans, they're executing, and he's got them really hustling on defense. So that's really great. Let's see, Mark Paragas, I'm in. Yes. The thoughts on the refs. Well, we did talk about the refs quite a bit earlier, so I thought they were not great at all. And if you were a Nuggets fan, you're probably really upset, and rightfully so. All right, let's see here. Maybe I'll grab a couple more. Let's see, Guao Yang. Where can we find the video of where you interviewed Coach Pop and Coach Spoelstra after game back in 2014? I did not interview them. I spoke to them, briefly, just behind the scenes, but they didn't do an interview with me. But one day, Pop, I don't know, but Spoelstra, I think one day I can pull that maybe. We'll see. But I hope so, because Spoelstra really is just, he's out coaching everybody right now. I feel like did I see one more? Why is it not popping up? It says there's a super chat here, but it's not popping up. What if I click on it? Oh, that was the same one I saw before. Okay. Well, listen, guys, that was awesome. Exhausting game. I woke up at like 4:45 a.m. I'm just like wiped as it is. But we'll get right back at it early tomorrow morning. Get this video out. You'll see whatever I talked about here and more. Please watch the video from today. It's weird. Not as many people watched it for some reason, even though it was good. I got Ronnie in there briefly for about 3 minutes, and we go all over Tyler Hero stuff. It's really good, so check that out. And stay tuned for this video too coming up. But again, thank you guys so much. The super chat was absolutely off the hook. I will think about doing this thing where we have the join button, and if I did that, I guess I can offer you a special live chat once a week. I answer all your questions, and probably like a little video for you guys too once a week or once every couple of weeks. So let's think about that. I'll look at that. I'll look at the pricing. What is it? $5 a month? Is that what people do, or is it? Can you change it? I'll look at it. Don't worry. But you know what? That would be awesome. I would love to do it. So anyhow, thank you for joining us. It was awesome. Love you guys. And I will see you right back here after the game tomorrow, right? We're going strong here. So don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel. We're a conversation. You in?